Right now, somewhere in America, a politician is standing at a podium telling you that free markets built the greatest economy in history. That hard work and competition created American wealth. That government should get out of the way and let capitalism do its job. It is one of the most successful lies ever told, because American capitalism was never free. It was never built on competition. And the people who tell you that story are the direct descendants of the people who built the real system. A system built on three foundations: stolen land, stolen labor, and government corruption so complete that it shaped the entire modern world. This is the history of capitalism in America, the version they never taught you. Subscribe to History Under Radar right now, because this is exactly the kind of story they never want you to find. In 1800, the American economy was unremarkable. Small farms, small towns, a former British colony trying to figure out what it was. Then cotton happened. By 1860, cotton accounted for 60% of all American exports. The entire American banking system was built on financing cotton. The entire American shipping industry was built on moving cotton. Wall Street's first major financial instrument was not a stock. It was a mortgage on an enslaved person. Human beings used as financial collateral. Here is the number that changes everything. In 1860, the financial value of the 4 million enslaved people in America was $4 billion. That is more than the value of all American railroads, more than all American factories, more than all American banks combined. American capitalism's first and largest asset class was human beings. The entire financial architecture of early American prosperity was built on that foundation. And when slavery ended, the system it built did not. The second foundation was land. In 1862, the American government passed the Homestead Act. 270 million acres of land distributed to white American settlers for almost nothing. This was not empty land. It was land that had been home to hundreds of Native American nations for thousands of years, the largest government redistribution of wealth in human history. And it was given exclusively to white settlers. Black Americans who had worked that land for generations as enslaved people received nothing. Not an acre, not a dollar, not an apology. The transcontinental railroad that connected this stolen land was built by 20,000 Chinese laborers, paid half the wages of white workers, and given the most dangerous work. When it was complete, they were excluded from the photograph.
The 1862 Homestead
Every American family that built generational wealth through land ownership in the 19th century built it on land the government took from someone else and gave to them. That is not a free market. That is the largest government handout in American history. The third foundation was monopoly. By 1883, men controlled more of the American economy than most governments controlled of their countries. John D. Rockefeller owned Standard Oil, which controlled 90% of all American oil refining.
It's a deal.
This was not achieved through competition.
Mutual prosperity.
Rockefeller made secret deals with railroad companies to charge his competitors higher shipping rates than he paid. His competitors literally could not afford to compete. When they were forced out of business, he bought them for nothing. Andrew Carnegie controlled American Steel. J.P. Morgan controlled American banking. These men did not succeed because capitalism worked. They succeeded because they captured the government that was supposed to regulate capitalism. In 1913, a group of private bankers met secretly on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. The meeting was so secret that participants traveled under false names. Out of that meeting came the Federal Reserve, a private banking institution given control of the American money supply, not owned by the government, not accountable to the public, owned by private banks. The same private banks that had just demonstrated they could destabilize the entire American economy whenever it served their interests. American capitalism's regulatory system was designed by the people it was supposed to regulate. For the next 30 years, American workers paid the price. 60-hour work weeks were standard. Child labor was legal and widespread. There was no minimum wage, no workplace safety regulation, no unemployment insurance, no retirement system. When workers organized to demand better conditions, company owners hired private armies to beat them. The government sent actual military troops to break up strikes. In 1914, the Colorado National Guard and company gunmen attacked a tent colony of striking coal miners. They burned the tents. They killed men, women, and children. 19 people died. The mine owner was John D. Rockefeller Jr. Nobody was convicted. This is what American capitalism looked like without regulation. Then the Great Depression hit, and the free market had no answer. Franklin Roosevelt created the New Deal. Government jobs programs, bank regulation, securities regulation, Social Security, minimum wage, the right to organize unions. The American middle class that conservatives point to as proof that capitalism works was created entirely by government intervention. The most prosperous period in American economic history, 1945 to 1975, was the most heavily regulated period in American economic history. The highest tax rates on the wealthy were 91%. Unions represented 35% of workers, and the American middle class grew faster than at any point before or since. Then in 1980, Ronald Reagan told Americans that government was the problem. Cut taxes on the wealthy, broke the unions, deregulated the banks, and told everyone this was the free market working. It was not the free market. It was the dismantling of the only system that had ever made the free market work for ordinary people. The same families who owned the slaves, who took the land, who built the monopolies, who designed the Federal Reserve, are the same families whose names are on the buildings at Harvard and Yale and the Metropolitan Museum of Art today. American capitalism did not build the middle class. American capitalism tried to prevent it. And every time ordinary people forced the government to intervene, they called it socialism. Remember that. History under radar. Subscribe. Share this video with someone who thinks they know how America got rich. And come back next Sunday, because we are just getting started.